As of today, January 4th, every mountain basin in Idaho has more than at least 100% of normal snowpack right now. So snowpack in Idaho looks really good, way above normal in most basins in Idaho for this time of year.
Why is it important? Why is the snowpack important?
Well, because most of southern Idaho, all of southern Idaho basically is a desert. And so if we don't have, the snowpack fills those reservoir systems that we have in southern Idaho. And those reservoirs, of course, provide water to millions of acres of farmland in southern Idaho. And rain is great for soil moisture, but rain doesn't fill the reservoirs, snow fills the reservoirs. And the reservoirs are what gives the farmers, wildlife, recreationists, the water they need in those hot, dry summer months. So if we don't get good snowpack, the reservoirs don't fill, farmers and other irrigators can run out of water much earlier than normal. It's critical. Those reservoir systems are critical to Idaho agriculture.
What still needs to happen for the snowpack?
Well, I say the snowpack right now in Idaho looks great for this time of year. It looked great this time of year last year also, but it stopped the rest of the year. And Idaho's typical snow accumulation season runs until about April 1st each year. It varies, but about April 1st. So last year, the first week of January, every basin in Idaho looked really good, but it stopped snowing. And so we ended up the year with a much less snowpack than we needed. We got bailed out last year by the spring rains. We don't want to depend on that again. So it has to keep, right now it looks great. If it turns off after today, then it won't look great in April 1st. So it has to keep snowing, it has to keep coming.
What does it mean for farmers if they don't get the snow they need?
Well, if you can imagine if you planted a potato crop and your water gets turned off, if they don't have the water in the reservoirs to provide the irrigation systems with water, you can imagine if you're growing potatoes and your water gets cut off in July, no water, no crops. So the water in those reservoirs is absolutely critical to agriculture in southern Idaho. Again, we live in a desert in southern Idaho, so those reservoirs are critical to agriculture. And it's a catastrophe. If farmers don't have water after July or June or even August, it could be a catastrophe in certain situations. So I'll give you an example. So right now, some of the major basins in Idaho, as far as the ones that have the big reservoir systems, the Weiser Basin is 137% of average snowpack as of today. The Payette Basin is 121% of average snowpack. Boise Basin is 133% of average snowpack. The Big Wood, Little Wood basins, which were hard hit the last couple of years for drought, are 145 and 139% of average snowpack as of today. The Henry's Fork Basin, the Teton Basins were 124% of average. The Snake Basin above Palisades, which helps fill the upper Snake system, which provides about 1.5 million acre-feet of water to farmers in southern Idaho. That's about it was 122% of normal as of today. And the Bear River Basin, which is pretty important too for the southeastern Idaho, was 162% of average snowpack as of today. The Portneuf and Blackfoot Basins were 168% of average snowpack. So moral of the story is snowpack in Idaho looks great right now, looks really good for this time of year, but it has to keep coming.